The imagination, backed by great expectations, can bring about almost any reality within the range of probabilities. You create your own reality.
So think about this. Your body is your unconscious mind. It doesn't know the difference between an experience in your life that creates an emotion and an emotion that you can create by thought alone. So if you're living by the same emotion every single day and those emotions are influencing your thoughts, and you can't think greater than how you feel, or feelings have become the means of thinking, you're thinking in the past. Your lens of the future is going to be colored by the past, so you can't see possibilities. So most people like to wait for crisis or disease or diagnosis before they wake up enough to see. Well, the challenge is that biology tends to be redundant. So if you keep thinking the same thoughts, and those thoughts begin to fire certain circuits in your brain, the nerve cells that fire together wire together, so all of a sudden you start getting hardwired, and those are the thoughts that you can think the easiest. At the same time, those thoughts produce chemicals called emotions, and the next thing you know, your body gets accustomed to living by the same emotions, and it could be guilt, it could be unhappiness, it could be pain, but at least it's familiar to you, at least you can predict it. So some people would rather cling to the familiar than take a chance in possibility. So for most people then, they say, well, I don't really see how my thoughts have anything to do with my destiny. Well, that's because 95% of those thoughts are subconscious programs, right? So you're not even conscious that you think those thoughts. So the first step to change is starting to think about what you've been thinking about and change it. And then when you begin to observe those thoughts, you're no longer the program, you're the consciousness observing the program.
Just simply by being an observer of your thoughts.
Right, so most people though, when you do that, when you decide to really take a look, it's like lighting a match in a dark place. So you feel uncomfortable. So it's easier to turn on your TV, it's easier to play with your cell phone, to distract yourself from those feelings. Well, when you understand that change really requires becoming uncomfortable to a certain degree, and that's normal, that you're leaving the known and you're stepping into the unknown, then it begs the question, what thoughts do you want to fire and wire in your brain? Because your attention on those thoughts begins to reorganize circuitry, remold the brain.
We are presented with two fundamental approaches when we confront a crisis. Initially, we may respond to it as an emergency, which during the early stages of a crisis is a healthy reaction. Alternatively, we can approach it with creativity and innovation. So examining this from a biological perspective provides valuable insights into how both individuals and cultures react. When we encounter stressful conditions in our lives, we activate a primitive nervous system known as the fight or flight response, or the sympathetic nervous system. This ancient system compels us to respond to external threats, chaos, or trauma by mobilizing significant amounts of energy. In our evolutionary past, fleeing or fighting was the best strategy for survival when facing predators. However, contemporary stressors, such as financial issues, job pressures, traffic jams, or even internet connectivity problems, activate this same primitive response. In the short term, most organisms can cope with brief episodes of stress. So for instance, a zebra being chased by a lion quickly returns to grazing once the threat has passed, restoring its equilibrium. Stress, in essence, is the disruption of the body and brain's balance. And the stress response is a natural mechanism to restore this equilibrium. However, if we cannot turn off this response once it's activated, it can lead to disease and breakdown. So, when we face a crisis as an emergency, our bodies release chemicals like adrenaline and cortisol, which trigger emotional states such as anger, frustration, aggression, fear, anxiety, insecurity, hopelessness, powerlessness, guilt, shame, and depression. These stress-induced chemicals drive us towards self-centeredness, egocentrism, and selfishness. This egocentric response is a tragic outcome during a crisis. When everyone is driven by these emotions, it exacerbates the crisis. Selfishness, competition, and primitive behavior dominate, hindering effective crisis management. Furthermore, stress-induced chemicals narrow our perspective, making us view reality through a distorted lens. So we feel disconnected from others, compete aggressively, and resort to manipulative tactics to secure our interests. In such a state, we are highly susceptible to control, as fear, competition, anger, and conflict divide us. Addressing a crisis through selfishness and self-centeredness only leads to further division, disintegration, and incoherence within a culture or society. Possibility becomes elusive. In contrast, viewing a crisis as a unique opportunity, cleverly disguised as an impossible situation, allows us to respond with innovation and creativity. Such an approach requires us to align our minds with the demands of the environment. Innovative and creative thinking engages the frontal lobe of the brain, enabling us to ask more significant questions and envision novel ways to adapt to changing conditions. So the key challenge in embracing change is avoiding the repetition of past choices. Consider this: on average, a person generates 60 to 70,000 thoughts each day, with approximately 90% of these thoughts being identical to those from the previous day. Repetitive thinking leads to identical choices, behaviors, experiences, and emotions forming our personality. To create a new reality, we must scrutinize our thoughts, behaviors, and emotions. We need to decide whether our habitual thinking patterns serve our desired future or inhibit it. Becoming self-aware and observing our behaviors are essential steps in cultivating habits that support our aspirations. It's crucial to acknowledge that our biology reflects our state of being, and thus our personality shapes our personal reality. Changing a culture necessitates altering individuals. So this transformation unfolds through the cumulative changes of individual choices. To bring about cultural change, we must encourage people to make different choices, think innovatively, and act creatively. This creative capacity is intrinsic to humanity. When an economy falters, a government deceives, or people feel unsupported, we must tap into our capacity to think unconventionally and adapt to the evolving landscape. Our reality is often shaped by the external environment, which can influence our thoughts and emotions. In this scenario, we might feel like we're at the mercy of the world around us. But can we change our thoughts and feelings to have an impact on our environment? This concept becomes challenging when we're dealing with immediate survival concerns, like putting food on the table or ensuring the well-being of our children. So, what's the alternative? Well, there aren't many options. However, when we begin to ask open-ended questions such as, how can I adapt my business in this ever-changing world? Or, how can I influence my future positively? A remarkable transformation can take place. The key to this transformation is acquiring knowledge and information. Learning something new creates fresh neural connections in the brain. That's essentially what learning is. So as we explore novel ways of thinking and gather new information, our brain starts operating differently. It fires in unique sequences and patterns, forging new connections. This, in turn, alters our mindset. Our mind, in essence, is our brain in action. When we embrace creativity, something extraordinary happens. We cease to be governed by survival emotions, those feelings that cloud our perception and make us see the future through the lens of the past. To design a new way of being, we must let go of the very patterns that have sustained us so far. This shift signifies the dawn of genius and innovation. Once we decide to take action, the real magic begins. Consider this: Steve Jobs, a visionary who co-founded Apple, was fired from the company's board before going on to create Pixar. Subsequently, he returned to Apple, becoming a leading executive. Many people would see job loss as a defining emotional moment. However, a maverick thinker would start to explore new horizons. People often become emotionally defined by their circumstances. They carry the emotional weight of their experiences and label themselves accordingly. But suppose someone loses their job and decides to view it not as a setback, but as an opportunity to explore uncharted territories. In that case, they begin to transcend the constraints of their old self and step into the realm of the unknown. This transition can be uncomfortable, as it involves a shift from familiar to unfamiliar territory. Most individuals tend to revert to the old patterns because it feels comfortable. Yet those who bravely venture into the unknown find themselves in the perfect place to create something entirely new. By embracing this unfamiliar terrain, they unlock doors to fresh opportunities they wouldn't have otherwise discovered. Our current era offers a unique perspective on crises. We can either view them as emergencies or as opportunities for innovation and transformation. As we begin to harness the power of possibility, we empower ourselves and others to break free from predictable behaviors. However, there's a crucial caveat. Merely thinking about change or envisioning a better world isn't enough. We must embody the change we wish to see. To truly manifest peace, we must be peaceful in all aspects of our lives. To manifest abundance, we must adopt an abundant mindset. As individuals begin to take care of themselves and change their emotional addictions, we start to shift from a selfish model driven by stress hormones to a selfless one. In this selfless state, our hearts open, and we consider the greater good when making decisions. So we trust in the future and feel interconnectedness with others. This selflessness nurtures the concept of oneness, the idea that our actions affect others and vice versa. Moreover, when people genuinely take care of themselves and transcend self-limiting beliefs, they start a journey of self-love. True self-love blossoms when we overcome our inner limitations, such as anger, fear, and insecurity. The result is an appreciation for life, a sense of spontaneity, and an authentic joy that represents our natural state of being. Our current understanding often accepts anger, fear, anxiety, and insecurity as normal states of consciousness. However, these are altered states of consciousness, while our true nature lies in freedom, inspiration, and joy. Embracing change on an individual level paves the way for a cultural shift. By acting in ways that break free from predictability, we ignite a chain reaction in which others notice our transformations. As more individuals implement this change, a collective transformation becomes possible. In these challenging times, we must view crises as opportunities for innovation and transformation. To do so, we must step outside our existing understanding of reality, learn new information, and take action towards a brighter future. The hardest part of this journey is finding the time to learn, prepare, and design the future while having the courage to step into the unknown. By realizing that change is essential and embodying it, we can transition from a crisis-driven model to one based on selflessness. As we collectively embrace selflessness and demonstrate it in our lives, we allow the transformative power of possibility to shape our future. This shift towards selflessness and unity has the potential to revolutionize our culture and create a world of abundance and peace. We need to understand the intricate relationship between our consciousness, our emotions, and the quantum field that connects us to all possibilities. Your brain is a marvel of complexity, with billions of neurons and trillions of synaptic connections. These neurons communicate through electrical and chemical signals, forming intricate networks that shape your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Your brain doesn't just respond to the world, it actively interprets and constructs your reality based on your perceptions. Your mind is not confined to your brain. It extends into your entire body. So, every thought you have generates specific chemicals and hormones that affect your physical and emotional state. This mind-body connection means that your thoughts are not mere abstractions. They have tangible effects on your well-being. The brain's capacity to change and adapt, known as neuroplasticity, is a pivotal aspect of recognizing your mind's power. It means that your brain is not a fixed entity. It can rewire itself in response to your thoughts and experiences. By consistently focusing on certain thoughts and emotions, you can reshape your neural pathways, altering your perceptions and behaviors. Thoughts are not intangible wisps, they are forms of energy.
Listen closely to begin attracting big money and financial abundance. I am now attracting the most high wealth. I feel like a millionaire, and money is always manifesting into all my accounts. My bank account is exploding with lots of cash. Every day, I feel rich and filled with good fortune. I will live a life of financial freedom and abundance. I will stay in the finest hotels and resorts. I will enjoy the freedom to travel whenever I desire. I will explore exotic locations and breathtaking landscapes. I will live in luxurious homes around the world. I will enjoy first-class travel experiences. I will have the financial freedom to live anywhere I choose. I will immerse myself in diverse cultures and experiences. I will travel the world in ultimate luxury. I will enjoy the best that life has to offer. I will visit the world's most exclusive destinations. I will live a life of limitless adventure and luxury. I will explore the world with financial ease. I will experience luxury travel in style and comfort. I will stay in the most opulent accommodations. I will live a life of financial abundance. I will travel to new and exciting places regularly. I will enjoy the luxury of traveling the world. I will live in beautiful and lavish homes. I will experience the freedom to travel the globe. I will enjoy financial security and luxury. I will visit the most sought-after destinations. I will live a life of extraordinary wealth and freedom. I will travel first class to amazing places. I will experience luxury in all my travels. I will have the financial means to explore the world. I will enjoy the best accommodations wherever I go. I will live a life of global adventure and luxury. I will travel the world with ease and comfort. I will stay in the most prestigious hotels. I will enjoy the freedom of financial abundance. I will visit the world's most beautiful places. I will live a life of wealth and exploration. I will experience the best that the world has to offer. I will travel to new and exotic locations. I will enjoy luxury travel experiences.